Am I lost in this weird background? Who knows? Crazy background. Nice picture, though. So, today I wanted to talk about pure intuition. There's a lot of ways that we measure intelligence, right? And the dance that I did at the beginning probably isn't one of them. One of the things that, at least when I was a kid, there was a big focus on was IQ. There were IQ tests, and there were those bubble tests we took, standardized tests as kids in the whatever grade, eighth grade, and I think there was one before that. I remember doing that 3 or 4 times in my school career, and the first one for me was all alone as a secret test on a rainy Saturday afternoon when I was in first grade. I got called to school, and it was the weirdest thing, right? Because I don't think I'd ever been to school on a Saturday. Now, mind you, I was only in the first grade. So I had been to that school in kindergarten and then now the first grade. And I'd never been to school on a Saturday. Now, on top of everything else, it was a very rainy, cloudy Saturday. Now, school started in September, and this might have been November. So, a couple of months, 2 or 3 months into the school year, and so it was the days were short, getting into winter, and it was a rainy, cloudy Saturday. And when I got to school, the yard was deserted. It was clumsy. I didn't know, felt awkward to me, ghost town, right? So I went in and I went into my parents brought me, right? And I didn't know what we were doing. It was not explained to me what was going on. So I'm going into the schoolyard and the calls are all empty and nobody's anywhere and it's weird. And then we went down the hall toward the principal's office, which was the regular school office, but the principal had an office in there, and I got worried. Started to get uptight, and I asked what was going on, and we're going to see the principal. And I thought, oh no. And I remember the principal's name. His name is Mr. Ingram, and he wasn't a grumpy guy. He was a regular guy. Maybe typical of school administrators, I guess. When you're a kid, you don't know really what that's like. But anyway, we went in there and talked to Mr. Ingram for a while, and then they had me draw some things and do some stuff, some kind of weird, what seemed to me weird testing, and it was there. We were there for a while, a few hours, and I don't know how many, 2 or 3 hours, I think, is my recollection. And then we left and went home. And that was it. And on the Monday following, I got taken out of my first grade class and I got put into second grade. And not only did I get put into second grade in the school that I had, and they do this different ways in different schools, but in the school I was in, they had a regular section of at least grades 1, 2, and 3. Now, I don't remember if it was 4, 5, and 6 or not. But the morning students were one group, and the afternoon students were another group, and they came an hour different from each other. So we could have smaller classes in the morning. I think we mostly did reading then, and then smaller in the afternoon because the morning guys went home. And they had an advanced section in each of first, second, and third grade, and they came in the morning and went home in the afternoon. So there was an extra hour of school to do extra things. And I don't remember all the extra things. But anyway, I was taken out of my first grade class and put into the advanced section of the second grade class. So it was scary for me. It was like being skipped a grade and a half, kind of. And many kids that I knew from the church that I went to were there. And so I liked that. And that was this is why I'm talking about intelligence. So I was judged to be way past where I was. And even when I was in the advanced section of second grade, I read at the sixth and eighth grade level, and it was a real struggle for me in grade school because intellectually I was very, very developed and blessed with that. But here's the thing: emotionally, I was behind. I was smaller than most as those years went by because now I was younger than everybody by quite a bit in my grade. And my emotional intelligence was a disaster. My relationship intelligence was a disaster. On top of that, I was a late bloomer physically. I didn't hit puberty until a year or two after others. And so, even though my intellect was developed, my emotional side was not. And so, my entire time from second grade all the way through high school, That affected me. It affected me dramatically because the grades, the schoolwork was easy. I got really good grades, except for the fact that I was so upset and affected by the emotional stuff that in the rest of well, for at least 2 or 3 years, even though I was in the advanced section of the second and third grade, I didn't get very good grades. Not because I couldn't, it was easy. I didn't do the homework, I didn't want to. Now, here's the reason I'm talking about that is there was a mismatch between the intellectual stuff that they measured in that test, and I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, and there was a wild mismatch between that and my emotional, psychological, social, and other development. So that mismatch was a real problem. Now, that's just a little story about some experience that I had that lasted for several years. So all the way through high school, I was a bookworm, I was a nerd, I was younger than everybody, I was physically smaller, and on and on and on and on. And so that followed me for the next 10 years till I graduated from high school. Here's the reason that matters. The question today is pure intuition. Pure intuition. I had a fun experience this morning. I belong to something called Lunch Club, and if you don't belong to Lunch Club, reach out to me. It is a magic networking platform. I've been on it for 2 years, and I've met all kinds of really cool people, and incidentally, got all kinds of really good business from it too, which was actually not my intention. It was just a fun way. It's powered by artificial intelligence, and it matches you around the world just for convo. And it's been fabulous to meet amazing people. In that platform today, I met an amazing woman who just impressed me, and it was around this matter of intuition. Very educated, capable business planner, some strategic stuff, and if she sees this, she'll probably roll her eyes because I messed up the description. That's all. Fine. The thing that really was impressive was the love that was in her to do good, to help people create success in their lives. And I was so honored to get a chance to meet this person from way far away, thousands and thousands and thousands of miles somewhere else way in the world, and to listen to her talk about her journey, the yearnings of her heart, and the desire. And here's what it emphasized for me again. You and me, we are both happiest, most wealthy, and more satisfied, and we can do more good when we serve our neighbors, friends, everybody with the gifts that we were given from the divine. That's just, I know it more in a more certain way every time I talk to somebody and every time I breathe, practically. If you want to make more money, and if you want to have more fun, and if you want to be happier, then make the choice to discover and serve with the gifts you were given. The gifts you were given by the divine aren't an accident. They're not an afterthought. They're not some silly thing. They are the core of your skill and power here in the world. And part of our conversation went to, well, can't you do other things to make a difference? Of course you can. People go to school and learn all kinds of skills, and maybe they have a fabulous career doing something. But how many people do you know have had a good career, built this, built that, make a lot of money, and they're not happy? Or they do a bunch of stuff. Maybe you're that. I was. You do something, you make a name for yourself, and you do this well, even at the world stage, and you're still not satisfied. A cog in the wheel, just doing stuff that is without meaning. All those are phrases that I've heard, you've heard, and maybe you've said. So the obvious, big, neon, glaring sign is, look, you and I were put here to love and serve our fellow beings. That's why we're here. We're put here to discover and to develop and then serve with the talents, gifts that we were given. And that's why the gifts are so diverse and there's so many of them. The fun part is, it is now today, in January, whatever it is, 2023, easier to turn that into a living where you can create money, business, income, support yourself. It's easier today to do that than it has ever been in the history of the world. And the reasons are pretty obvious. The fact that I had a conversation with somebody halfway around the world today would never have been possible before. The best we could do before is pen pals. And it took a week or 2 weeks to get mail wherever, or a month. when it was back in the shipping days. So we reach people instantaneously. We have the ability to connect with anyone. We have the ability to talk to anyone, and we have the ability to serve anyone. It has never been easier to take your gifts and serve others in a way that lets you create a business if you want to. And I'm not suggesting the only purpose of gifts is to make money. What I am suggesting is there are so many that I have talked to that say things like, yeah, but I can't make money doing that. Yeah, but I can't make a living. Yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. And I hear that word yeah, but so much that it turns into a word, and I spell it Yabbut, yabbit. And it reminds me of Bugs Bunny, wabbit, wabbit. It's an excuse. You have gifts that somebody needs. I know that. So do I. And the key and the fun in life is figuring out how to use them, figuring out what they are, discovering our gifts. And that's easier than we think. That's not a big, complicated treasure hunt. The things you love to do, the things people come to you for, ask people, it's easy to find out what your gifts are. The fun part is then to figure out how to serve with those in ways that can make a business if you want one. Now, that doesn't mean you can't serve other ways. Of course you can. Volunteering, love, and service is the key. But we all have to eat and pay rent and buy cars if you live in a place where you need that kind of transportation. And so, because some places there's a lot of public transport and a lot of people don't have cars. So if you can make all that, you can create all that, and the benefit to doing it is you're happy. I can't tell you the number of people. I hate my job. I hate my boss. I don't like the schedule I have. I have this, I have that, and all of it's related to stuff that's fixable. It's all fixable. Hello? So that took me a long time to learn, and the hello is as much for me as anything. Here's what I know for sure. You have gifts and talents, so do I. You can make a living with them if you want. I am doing that. I know that you are happiest when you love and serve those around you with those gifts and talents. So that's my road to 50 million. Now, the reason I named today my 50 million is I'm going to help 50 million people discover their gifts and choose to serve with them. And that might include making business and it might not. But pure intuition is this. Since those gifts are divine, since those gifts were given by the Creator, the way to find them is with intuition. You don't find them in an encyclopedia. You don't even find them by thinking a lot. In fact, often thinking a lot gets in the road because with all that thinking comes judging and the expectation that somebody else is going to like or not like what you have to say, do, and so forth. So thinking plays a small part in that. Learning to cultivate, intentionally cultivating intuition. Now, if you think about chakras and energy, that's the third eye, the intuition here. You know, in there, Dispenza talks about pineal gland, that thing that's in the middle of your head. Whether it's that is the connection or not, doesn't even matter. The truth is, you and I have a direct intuitive connection to infinity. My question for you is, are you using it? Are you developing it? Are you making it bigger and stronger? Like if you do push-ups every day, your arms get bigger. If you do sit-ups every day, eventually you get stronger abs. And I know there's other exercises, but metaphorically, if you run a lot, you develop your lungs. If you sing a lot, you learn to sing well. Play the piano a lot, you get good at it. Intuition's no different. Learning to hear your intuition and trust it. So here's my invitation, and it's the same every day. I'm helping 50 million people discover and serve with their gifts. If you're already one of those and you are living and serving with your gifts right now and living that ultimate life, that's how I call it, I'd love to connect with you and talk because I have a ton of stages, places where you can speak to groups of people to spread your message. If you're not living that way and you want to and you're yearning and you're aching and you've tried and failed, then I want to talk to you because I'm going to help you get there. It's never been easier and you can do this. And the third group is if you have a way to help me get to my 50 million, then I'd love your help. You are divine. You are capable. Your intuition is a gift you have. It's not an accident. It's not haphazard. It can be cultivated and be as regular and dependable as the clock on, well, I was going to say the clock on the wall, but maybe it's on your phone or your wrist. Love to you, and we'll see you tomorrow on the road to 50 million.